Hey, magandang umaga, magandang hapon, magandang gabi. Welcome to another episode of DAXdakan. Today, it is a solo run. Quick, or maybe not quick. Today's presentation or topic is Dashboard in an Hour with Copilot. As mentioned in the invite, we are going back to basics. This is more of a beginner-friendly dashboard or Power BI tutorial run. This is usually what I present whenever I get invited to talks wherein I'm not sure if there are a lot of intermediate or advanced Power BI users. This is usually the talk that I provide if I expect like 60% of the participants are not familiar with Power BI. So, medyo mas ano tayo ngayon. Medyo mas chill, mas beginner-friendly. Hopefully though, meron pa rin kayong mapulot if medyo nasa intermediate na kayo, if nasa advanced kayo. And if wala kayong Copilot, maybe that is something that interests you. Kasi medyo sisingit-singitan natin ng mga Copilot bits and pieces. So again, thank you for everyone who is watching the live in Facebook. Thank you everyone who joined me currently or who are joining me currently in Teams. Hello sa inyong lahat. Baka hindi ko masyado mabantayan lang yung chat. So if nasa Teams kayo, feel free to unmute if you have questions. If nasa FB naman kayo, feel free to chat away. I'll try my best to, multitask since again, full solo to. Yan. I know the topic says dashboard in an hour, pero we will for sure go above the hour kasi we will start with my regular DAXdakan intros, kumbaga. Or not the full intro, pero bits and pieces lang. Kasi there are some updates that I'm kinda excited to share with everyone. So about us, again, we are an online community of, outdated na. I think we are currently at 21,000 something. We are an online community of 21K plus Microsoft Power BI enthusiasts in the Philippines. Again, thanks to everyone who joined. And mission, vision, papaikliin ko na. Essentially, when this all started out, the Power BI Pilipinas mission was to get everyone or offer a conducive learning environment, not just because it's a network, not just because it's a group of Pinoys na pwede kayo magtagalog kung may tanong kayo, pero at the same time, we also want to deploy trainings every now and then, such as this one, or kahit yung mga live meetups natin every now and then, to hopefully either build your network of analysts and Power BI developers and data scientists, or if medyo mas bago-bago kayo, slowly, get you up to speed with Power BI skills. And medyo aligned na rin doon, papunta na rin doon yung vision natin, which is to become the best Power BI community in the Philippines, which I am proud to say that at least in terms of count, we are the best, the biggest Power BI community in the Philippines. This is more really for foreign visitors who by any chance would be seeing this video recording in YouTube at a later point in time. Dakdak is a Filipino verb which means to talk non-stop, and DAXdakan is a regular meeting with other Power BI Pilipinas members. This is going to be uploaded later on, maybe within the weekend, into YouTube. At the same time, it will be uploaded as a podcast in Spotify and YouTube na rin. Kasi in YouTube, you can upload a video and tag it as a podcast. Magiging audio only siya if you have YouTube, if you are using YouTube Music. And obviously, language is Filipino English. Moving forward. Ayan, ito yung medyo excited ako. Dapat pala medyo hinaid-hide ko. Marami tayong updates today. Kasi medyo matagal, medyo na rin, may gap yung last DAXdakan natin. So, number one update, we are currently, hindi na yata 526 Let's take a quick peek about our Fabric community. Nasaan ba yun? Ito. As far as member count is concerned, we are at 529. We are in third place on a global scale. So we are behind Microsoft Fabric UK and the India Microsoft Fabric UG. And kung titingnan ninyo, konting-konti na lang. Kailangan na lang natin ng 6 para malagpasan si Microsoft Fabric UK. So if you're not inside our Power BI Pilipinas Fabric community yet, please join us. Kulang na lang tayo ng 5 or 6. Actually, si Fabric UK, medyo sinisilip-silip ko siya. Nagkakaroon siya ng new members every now and then. Unlike yung mga other groups. Kaya, kumbaga, it's both organic rin siya na nag-grow, which is PBI Pinas rin. So, currently, we are at 529. I'm going to post this link into our FB chat. If you are not yet a member, please do join us. And inuulit-ulit ko to, pero bakit nga ba? Why do I want people to join? It's mainly because if we are visible in the Fabric community groups, it does give us better leverage. The leverage that we can use, in terms of asking for favors from Microsoft, since medyo hindi sila ganun ka tutok sa Facebook. Medyo tutok sila ng konti sa LinkedIn, pero ang pinaka what they usually bank on is how big are you, how active are you in the Fabric community, which is their own space kasi. Diba? So, kaya medyo mas gusto nating andoon yung activity. What else? Sorry, going back into my Canva. So yeah, and again, this is just 474 last month. So thank you again to everyone who has joined. If you have not, please, sali na. And big congratulations again to the Wanted by the PBI Pinas winners. If you're not aware, I think last month, saan ba ako pupunta? Ito ba? Hindi. Open tayo ng isa pang page. So I think roughly a month ago, nagkaroon tayo ng Wanted by the PBI Pinas raffle. So this was the promo raffle that we did, I think, September 19, almost a month ago. And we were looking for 3 DataCamp scholars. Again, huge thank you to Data Engineering Pilipinas. To those of you who do not know, Data Engineering Pilipinas kasi is a DataCamp donates partner. So, kasama doon, meron silang, they have a lot actually, nasa ilang hundred yun na DataCamp logins that they can share. Pero ang pinaka caveat is, pag nagkaroon ka ng DataCamp login na yon, you need to use it. You need to utilize it. Binabantayan yung experience gain ng mga logins na yon. They have a minimum of 400 experience points per month na dapat ma-maintain per login. So if medyo hindi nagagamit, not only do they disengage the member, not only do they remove the credentials from the member, pero at the same time, it does put Data Engineering Pilipinas at an awkward spot with DataCamp kasi they need to prove na bibigyan kayo ng DataCamp ng scholarships pero dapat nagagamit ninyo. So, kumbaga, you help me, I help you type of thing. Just be active. So, medyo slight na rin yun. Slight reminder to the 4. And if you're wondering bakit 4 nakasulat dun sa announcement mo 3 winners kasi 4 nga ba? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actually. Kasi dumating sa point na dumating nga sa point na nagbabawas rin ng inactive login si DEP, so they were kind enough, gracious enough to provide us with extra winner credentials. So again, congrats to Cheryl, JM, Jojo, Jonathan, Mark. If hopefully nagagamit niyo yung mga DataCamp, I will be checking in on you over the weekend rin. Mga ngamusta rin ako. Pero if for some reason may life event na hindi kayo nakakapag DataCamp, we totally understand. Pero yun, we need to share your login to another person just in case. Pero yun, again, congrats to the winners. And Onyx Data, September 2024 Data Challenge. Again, congratulations to Rico Balibalita, one of the Power BI Pilipinas moderators, for winning or being a runner-up in said challenge and being the grand winner dun sa Zoom Charts Side Challenge. And congrats as well to Fatima Flores. Saw her... hindi ako Sorry, hindi ako naka full screen na. And congrats as well to Fatima Flores. She is a member of Data Analytics Philippines. Pero Pinoy pa rin. So, syempre, congrats sa mga nasa Philippine Data Circle na nananalo sa mga data challenges. Mga idol. A couple more updates. As I've said, medyo marami. Kaya gusto ko na rin talaga mag-DAXdakan today. DAXdakan 101 with Sir Abs is happening on November 2, Saturday, 8 p.m. MS Teams. Nakabalik na sa... Naisip ko, Sweden. Sorry, nasa ang bansa ka nga ba, Sir Abs? Sorry. Europe. Basta somewhere in Europe. So, 8 p.m. tayo nakaset. Medyo mag-share si Sir Abs ng napakaraming tips kung paano humusay sa data field and maybe kung paano na rin yumaman and maybe paano makapag-migrate. So, depende. So, we'll see. Medyo open discussion naman yun pero the main topic will be around starting up your data professional career and thriving in it. And isa sa mga pinaka-inaabangan, DAXdakan Live is happening at AIM again, November 16, Saturday, 9 a.m., AIM Makati. So, small reminder lang, yun, kung sa mga nagtatanong, it's going to be inside the AIM, pero we're going to use a slightly smaller room. Sa mga naka-attend last time, parang nasa 80 packs yata yung, or 80 to almost 100 packs yata yung capacity ng previous room kasi hall lang siya, empty hall. So this is the room that we're going to use. It's going to be the Aboitiz Tech Space inside AIM. Medyo mas high-tech. That said, medyo mas maliit din. It's around 50 to 60 packs capacity lang. So mag-a-announce ako siguro next week. I'll need to coordinate with AIM kung paano nila gusto gawin yung registration of participants. The good news is medyo conducive to sa live streaming. So, I'll work with AIM as well kung paano tayo makakapag-hybrid na meron tayong on-site dun sa AIM Makati and at the same time, sa mga makakasali lang via Teams or Facebook Live, paano i-converge lahat yun. So, yun, medyo pwede. Or most likely, pwede yun. And sneak peek na rin, hindi ko pa ina-announce, pero we will have, sorry, ang alam ko na-share ko na rin yun at some point. Or na-message ko na rin. So, we will have 4 speakers, at least 4 speakers on that day. Josh of Josh Dev, si Nestor, one of our PBI Pilipinas moderators, si Pio, an MVP for the data platform based in Singapore, and Ziggy, MVP for Azure AI. If nag-a-attend rin kayo ng mga MVP or learn with the MVP session sa Microsoft building sa Ayala, si Ziggy yung pasimuno nun. So, very exciting, November 16. And then, for November 2 nga, we have a one-on-one with Abs. And then finally, open pa rin tayo, of course, should anyone want to present or wish to present or curious lang to present, whether it be here sa DAXdakan, one of the DAXdakan online sessions, or if you want to present on the live, do tell. Pwede nating pag-usapan at i-set up yan. That's pretty much it for the updates. Dito na tayo sa topic proper natin. Dashboard in an hour with Copilot. So, as I've said, back to basics tayo. Dashboard in an hour. Kumbaga, this is now at version 6, I believe. Medyo parang favorite ko na to. Or kumbaga, parang yun. Pinasarap na ng panahon. Kumbaga, matagal nang kinukulutong itong set of slides na to. So again, this is more beginner level. This is more helping out people who are totally unfamiliar with Power BI. So, kaya meron pa tayong prerequisites. Just in case you do not know, is Mac OS is still not supported with Power BI. You will need to use virtual machines or dual boots para makapag Power BI kayo sa Mac. Kaya, Ayun. Kumbaga, if balak nyong pumasok sa Power BI development route and pabili pa lang kayo ng laptop or desktop, medyo magandang mag-Windows na kayo. The data set that we will be using later on is going to be the Bigfoot data. I will be showing that I will be actually showcasing the data in a few minutes. So, basic. We start out with the Power BI desktop interface. And medyo may mga konting updates na here and there, pero this one kind of holds true pa naman. So, one of the medyo confusing things with Power BI is there are actually two application layers on it. One is this, your Power BI desktop. Later on, I'll be showing you what we call the Power Query Editor, which is technically another application layer. And we'll talk about it more. Pero focus muna tayo dito kay Power BI desktop. What you have right smack in the middle, or simula tayo sa top, if you've been using Microsoft Office applications, a lot of this, or at least the interface in general, will be kind of familiar to you. You have the title bar up top, you have your ribbon right below it with the big icons, you have your report canvas right in the middle, and then you have view tabs to the left. Meron kayong report view, data view, model view. Basta iba't ibang views lang yan. We will also be going through it later. And then on the right, you have the panes. Meron kayong filter pane, meron kayong build pane, or what we call the visualization pane dati, and you have your data pane. And then you have your pane switcher kasi marami pang ibang panes na pwede kang ilagay, idagdag. Kaya if naka ultra-wide monitor kayo, isa si Power BI desktop sa medyo masarap gamitin with ultra-wides kasi ang dami mong pwedeng panes na nakabukas. And at the bottom, parang Microsoft Excel lang, you have your pages. And then at the top, you have a button saying transform data. Once you click on the transform data button, that actually opens up your Power Query Editor. And your Power Query Editor looks like so. So ito na yung sinasabi ko na in a way, you can actually treat it as a separate application layer. In fact, magkaiba sila ng programming language or at least the language that you use for your formulas compared sa kanina sa Power BI Desktop. In Power BI Desktop, the language is called DAX. Kaya nga tayo DAXdakan. So with DAX, it is treated as a parang very close cousin of Excel's programming language. So yung mga sum, open parentheses, yung cells, close parentheses, ganun din yung kay Power BI Desktop, ganun din sa DAX. Kay Power Query Editor, medyo iba na. Obviously, if you can take a look at it, may formula bar dito sa taas, medyo iba na yung look, iba na yung feel. Table dot, transform, column, type, source. The good news is, for anywhere, Power BI Desktop man yan, or Power Query Editor, for both of them, you can actually get away with not knowing how to type the formula at all. As in, puro point and click. Mabubuhay na kayo doon. And yun nga, we do have Copilot for certain slightly more complicated measures and formulas. So medyo marami ng ways para humusay, kumbaga. And yun, it's a good time to learn any programming language actually because of AI rin, because of generative AI specifically. So, Power Query Editor muna, pag-usapan natin yung parts rin nito. So, at the top, similarly, you have your title bar, you have your ribbon, this time, you have a status bar at the bottom. Makikita nyo nakasulat, column profiling based on top 1,000 rows. And may mga, may mga parang summary rin na this one, what you're looking at, has 5 columns and 2 rows, the table that you're looking at in front of you. Tapos on the left, in the middle, wala ka ng report view or report canvas. Iisa na lang yung view ng Power Query Editor kasi you use Power Query Editor more with transformation of tables. Kaya heavily tables lang yung pinapakita sa'yo sa harap ng or sa gitna ni Power Query Editor. And this is what you call the table preview. On the top, as I kinda alluded earlier, meron kang formula bar. And then on the left, you have your query pane. So Kay Power Query Editor, kada isang table mo, it's called a query. Now, sa mga medyo familiar na with the actual meaning of the word query siya kasi hindi naman lahat yan table kagad nagsimula. Yung iba dyan, slightly, maybe coming from 2, 3 separate tables, mina-merge lang, ganyan, nagiging isang table. Yung iba naman dyan, nanggagaling sa iba't ibang data sources. So, si Power Query Editor, one of its strengths is really being able to connect with different data sources. Mapa SQL Server, mapa Microsoft Excel na nasa desktop mo, mapa CSV na nasa SharePoint folder, mapa kung ano-ano pa, napakarami. Even third-party ones like kung gumagamit kayo ng Smartsheet or Google Datasets, meron din. So, marami siyang connectors and ang ginagawa ng Power Query Editor, ginagawa niyang homogeneous lahat, na kumbaga lahat yan, tables na lang yan kay Power BI. Or, correct term right now, lahat yan nasa loob na ng semantic model mo. So, later on, magsasample tayo pero medyo simple lang eh. Again, dashboard in an hour lang tayo. Medyo simple lang yung example pero mapapakita ko naman kung ano yung from CSV into query or into Power Query and then into Power BI. So, yun yung query pane. Iisa lang yan. Table lang yung nakasulat dito. Mainly because isa lang yung, again, sample ngayon. Pero pwede kang magkaroon ng 100 na different queries dyan and lahat sila magiging accessible dun sa Power BI side. And then steps pane, ito lang yung breakdown ng ano yung mga procedures na pinapagawa mo sa transformation ng table na to. In this case, medyo simple lang. Parang meron lang siyang source step to tell Power Query Editor nasaan yung data and then meron lang siyang change type which is changing the data types. So, yung mga letters, naka-text data type and then yung mga numbers, naka-integer data types ngayon. And, ayun, easy. So, let's start building a report in under 60 minutes. Usually, at this point, what I do is show people what does the data look like. Again, simpleng data set yung i-discuss natin today. A data set called Bigfoot sightings. So, ano nga ba yung Bigfoot sightings data set? It's a single sheet data set inside Excel that contains a sheet named BFRO reports geocoded. BFRO parang Bigfoot Research Org something in the US. Tapos, as you can see, ilan ba to? Medyo maliit lang eh. So, 5,000 rows of data. Tapos, as far as columns are concerned, 26 lang, A to Z. Tapos, for each row of data, it's one witness account. So, medyo, take that into account. Or remember that, na each row natin is one witness account. Kumbaga, one Bigfoot sighting, diba? Essentially. And first column A is parang yung mga verbatim mismo ng witness na I was canoeing on the Sipsey River in Alabama. It was dusk as I was pulling out of the river. And then I suddenly heard a very loud whoop, 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 mga ganun. So, yun nga, witness account mismo. And then as you go along to the other columns, you have a column saying county, column for state, column for the season, the title of the what do you call that, of the witness report, latitude, longitude, the date, the number, report ID niya yata to, tapos may classification din. So kumbaga parang ang class A yata is parang high class sighting, meaning medyo sure si witness na it was really Bigfoot, maraming evidences, ganyan, naaninag niya, whatever. Tapos, class B, medyo bumababa ng konti. It's very foggy. For example, naaninag niya pero malabo sobra. Pwede ring 6-footer lang yung nakita niya. Or pwede ring narinig lang niya, mga ganon. And then class C, yung bottom is mga tipong nangyari ng matagal, hindi na niya maalala masyado, or kwento lang ng pamangkin ng lolo ng kapatid niya, mga ganun. And then yan, as you go along, you'll notice that you have columns that are more numeric. So, decimal ng mga temperatures, humidity, medyo weather-related data. And that's pretty much it. So immediately, right from this, medyo may isip-isip nyo na per citing yan, so you can come up easily with, may dates ka dito eh. Tama ba? Andito nga ba? Ayun, sorry, nalagpasan ko. Column H. So may dates ka, so you can obviously easily have a sightings per date type of visual. You can have a sightings per season, sightings per classification, tapos pwede mo rin paglaruan to, whatever, yung mga temperatures, kasi numbers rin naman sila. Pwede ka magkaroon ng mga histograms, playing around with the numbers, showing where the sightings usually fall, anong mga ranges, mga ganon. So, first step, what we want to do is to open up Power BI and start importing your data. So, we close this. And then we go into Power BI Desktop. So, naka-launch na naman sa akin. And then, nga pala, dark mode. Hi, dark mode. Medyo weird nga lang kasi dark mode tayo, pero yun nga, ang puti-puti nung report canvas. Pero may mabilis na solution dyan. Punta ka lang ng view, open mo yung mga themes na available. Ayan, select mo to, si Innovate. Tada! At least yun, dumilim. Hindi masyadong applicable ngayon kasi maaga pa naman. Pero pag gabi to at marami ng mga patay na ilaw, godsend pa rin naman si dark mode. So, na-enjoy ko pa rin naman siya gamitin. Ano nga lang, it is true that medyo hindi siya applicable enterprise-wise. Instead of transfer data, I'll click another button. Medyo pagdating sa corporate, since especially sa akin, since I work with US clients, medyo preferred pa rin nila yung normal na white background na reports. So, get data is the button that we can click to get the Excel workbook data source that we want. As I've said, if I click on more, there's a lot of data sources that will be available for you to play around with. And kahit yung mga ibang brands, yet Google Analytics nga, Salesforce, GitHub will be there, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, may mga ganon. I used, or one of my clients used Smartsheet. Nagulat ako, napakadali rin. May Smartsheet connector pala si Power BI. So as in, yung buong spreadsheets nila from Smartsheets, napupull ko lang directly. So yun, napakadali. As long siguro as hindi siya sobrang parang unknown little data company. Pero yun, kumbaga for a lot really. Andaling kumonek. So again, let's connect. You can also click on this Excel workbook. Tapos tatanungin ka na, nasaan yung workbook mo? I forgot, nasaan nga ba yung workbook ko? So it's here on my D drive. And double click lang. Once you double click, it should provide you with a parang sample, what do you call that? Preview of what it is. So I click on my sheet, yung BFRO reports geocoded. Yep, this is the sheet that I'm interested in. I click place a check on the tick box in it. And then you'll notice that ang default option is yung load. So you have a bunch of buttons at the lower right corner. Load yung parang default button niya. What load does is it will throw you back into Power BI. What transform data does is it will open your Power Query editor. In our case, for the purposes of education, let's click on transform data para it will open our Power Query editor. So yun na, agad. Opens your Power Query editor. And makikita nyo, ito na yung medyo similar view to what I showed earlier sa PowerPoint, where you have a single query here, and then you have some steps on the right. And this is, as I've said, this is the part where you try to transform your data as much as you can, so that you don't do too many transformations when you get into the Power BI side. The Power Query editor is considered an upstream of your Power BI data. So kung meron ka mga gustong alising rows, gustong alising columns, kunwari, etong verbatim na to, sobrang dami namang words, gusto lang nila summary kasi, gusto lang nila executive summary page, so hindi ko kailangan ng mga verbatim. I can delete this. You can simply right-click on it, remove it, wala na siya sa data. As in, hindi na siya i-load pa sa Power BI. So, it will help you in the future with refresh times pag nasa server na to, mga ganon. So, kunwari, itong title, hindi mo na rin kailangan. remove. Kunwari, what if ang interested ka lang is class A and B na mga sightings? You can also do that. Click on the auto filter similar to Excel and then uncheck class C. Click OK. So, class A, B na lang makikita nyo. And naka-on yung preview ko dito, which you can turn on by clicking on View and clicking on Column Profile, I think. Was it Column Profile? Hindi pala, sorry. Column Quality? Hindi rin. Column Distribution pala. So, column distribution yung dalawang to or yung mga histograms, distribution charts na nakikita nyo. And then yun, you have certain options pa for profile and quality based sa mga gusto nyong pang preview ng data nyo. So far, inalis ko yung verbatim, yung title, nag-remove rin ako ng rows na class C. And take note, I haven't typed anything yet. Wala pa akong ini-enter na code. At this point, I can actually click on close and apply. If I click on close and apply, it will load that data into my Power BI desktop. And then, ito na yung table ko. If I click on, and remember, earlier we had views on the left, diba? Nasa report view tayo ngayon. Yun yung default eh. I can go to table view and it will show me the table preview. And notice, if I drop down classification, A and B na lang yung andyan. So si C, hindi na talaga niya niload sa data. Mas maliit na lang yung tinitignan ko dito sa Power BI desktop. Now, let's go back to Power Query Editor. Kasi I went through that really fast eh. Medyo gusto kong ma-appreciate ninyo na I didn't use my keyboard once during that entire segment or sequence. Pero, if I click on Advanced Editor right here, or pwede rin ako mag-right click dito, Advanced Editor, eto na yung mga code na automatic sinulat lang ni Power Query Editor. So, ito yung source step and igagawin ko tong mas maliit na window dito sa gilid. Yan. So, ito yung source step, yung unang-una. Tapos, second step niya dito, yung navigation, which is it navigated lang to which sheet in my Excel file. Tapos, next yung promoted headers. So, it's code to tell Power Query that your first row are headers. Hindi sila part ng data. Kumbaga, si county, si state, yan. Headers sila. So, automatic rin na-detect. Change type, automatic rin nangyari. Remove columns, ito na yung ginawa natin kanina. Remember, yung remove columns natin ng observe column and remove columns ng title column. Tapos, at the same, filtered rows, nag-filter out tayo ng class C. So, makita nyo na siya na rin yung nag-type ng for every row, yun yung each, by the way. For the classification column, not equal to class C dapat. At some point, kunwari, gusto nyong maibalik si class C, and pagtingin nyo kasi dito, pwede nyong lagyan ng checkmark yan. Yes, that's one way. And click OK. You will now have class C again, somewhere there. Medyo konti kasi si class C eh. Pero if I click on it, yan, kumbaga naka-check na siya. Or, what I would recommend is always review your Power Query Editor steps. Kumbaga, nag-uncheck ka kanina, nire-check mo siya ulit, maybe mas may sense, maybe mas practical na dinelete mo na lang sana yung filtered row step mo. If you look at your formula bar, wala na siyang anything eh. Sa step na yun, each true na lang siya. So, it will clean up your code. Delete that by clicking on the delete icon here. And if you click on Advanced Editor again, wala na siya. Wala na yung filtered rows. Remove columns na lang. You can click on Close and Apply and it will refresh your data in your Power BI desktop. And one more thing that you can do to further make you comfortable with Power Query Editor. By the way, in Power Query Editor, the programming language is called M for mashup. Or yun lang yung meaning ng M. Tapos, if you are going to Google or Bing it at some time, kumbaga, meron ka mga gustong i-type, meron ka mga hindi magawa dito sa Power Query Editor. Just make sure that in your search field, you type Power Query in Power Query Editor, in Power Query, ganon. Kasi, as I've said, iba yung programming language, iba rin yung interface ni Power Query Editor kay Power BI. Again, for you to help yourself to be more familiar with Power Query Editor, kahit click-click lang yung ginagawa nyo. Nagpa-point and click kayo. Nagagawa ng lahat ng Power Query Editor without needing code. It's always good practice to check each step of your Power Query. So, in this case, click nyo lang yung source. Makikita nyo, mag-iiba yung preview. Mapupunta siya rito kasi it actually walks you through each and every step of Power Query. So, if I click on source, ang makikita nyo is yung part lang na hinanap niya nasaan yung file. So, XLSX, Bigfoot sightings, nahanap niya. And then it's telling you that there's one sheet on it. I click on navigation, inopen na niya yung sheet na yon. Pero before I click on the next step, which is promoted headers, mapapansin nyo, wala pang mga headers. Column 1, column 2, column 3, yung pangalan ng mga headers dito. Tapos, naging row 1, yung mga actual headers. However, if you click on promoted headers, inayos na niya. And then, mapapansin nyo rin, yung data type is here eh. Nandito yan sa upper left, kumbaga, or left side ng column headers, ABC 1, 2, 3 pa. So, kumbaga, parang undeclared yung mga data types nila. If you click on change type, magiging declared na siya. So, text, decimals, whatever. And ano nga ba silbi? Hindi ba pwede, sir, na wag na ako mag-declare? Similar to a lot of other programming languages, medyo magkakaroon kayo ng problema pag you are trying to average something that is text or something that is undeclared. Kunwari, ABC 1, 2, 3, hindi kayo makakapag mathematical operations kasi. Tapos, at the same time, if mali naman kayo, kunwari, yung text ninyo, nagkamali kayo, nagawa nyong integer, mag-i-error naman yung buong column na yon. So, kumbaga, it's really good practice to, especially if you're working with bigger data sets, unknown data sets, multiple tables, it's really good practice to go inside Power Query, familiarize yourself with the columns, remove any columns that you don't need kasi mapapaliit nyo pa yung model nyo, and then at the same time, make sure that you are, tagging the data types correctly. And then yun nga, finally, remove columns, tinanggal na niya yung mga andito, yung mga text natin, yung verbatim natin. So, close and apply ulit tayo. The only change I did was to remove the filter for class. So, classification, if I drop it down, andyan na ulit si class he. Yay, welcome back. So, I click OK. Now, regarding the other views, si model view, medyo boring siya ngayon kasi iisa lang yung table mo eh. Pero pag marami ka ng mga tables na iba-iba, this is the view where you go to for you to see the relationships between each and every table. So, dito ka gumagawa ng mga links between different tables, which is going to be very helpful again. Pag real life na to, in real life kasi bihirang-bihira yung meron kang iisang flat table lang for you to work with. Usually, you will be working with multiple tables. Madalas pa nga, you will be working with multiple data sources. Hindi yan lahat nasa SQL. Hindi yan lahat nasa SharePoint. Hindi yan lahat nasa Azure. So, ayun. And then, this is where you essentially build your models. Yung last na view, DAX query view, is something that is relatively new. Wala pang 1 year tong tong feature na to, tong view na to. So, pinakasilbi niya is for you to test out certain DAX codes. Mas mabilis kasing mag-respond to. It's also a good space for you to use calculation groups, which is a much more advanced topic. So, intermediate to advanced. May mga, kumbaga, medyo mas mga complicated na DAX formulas, dito ka pwedeng pumunta. So, going back, at this stage, meron ka ng dataset. Meron ka ng table. Nag-iisa siya. Naka-chevron. Naka-collapse. So, i-expand mo. Kita ko na lahat ng mga columns ko. And as you'll notice, if ang column ay text, wala siya netong summation na icon. Pero if the column is an integer or basically a number, it will have a summation icon with it. So, magsimula tayo dun sa gusto ko sana makita kanina na number of sightings lang, plain and simple. Ilan ba yung total? And if we go back to our dataset, pwede dito actually, dito sa table view. Lower left corner, makita nyo that we have 5,021 rows or 5,021 sightings na naka-list. Gawa tayo ng isang measure, ng isang formula para malaman ko kung ilan nga ba yung count of rows ng table na yan, ng BFRO reports geocoded. So, typically, classically, what you'll need to do is click on New Measure. Pwede ring right-click dito, New Measure, andyan rin siya. If once you click on New Measure, let's name the measure sightings. And then equals. Ang gusto ko lang malaman is ilan ng rows na meron dyan sa table na yan. So, it's as easy as typing count rows. Count rows nga ba? Yep, count rows. And then open parentheses and then the table name. If I type in BF, may IntelliSense tayo. So, it knows that BFRO is a name of a table and you can just hit tab, close parentheses, hit enter, and then you'll see that you now have a little measure name here called sightings. And you know it's a measure kasi meron siya ng calculator icon. And from here, yung ibang tao naglalagay ng underscore sa harap ng sightings kasi ang ginagawa niyan, pag hit mo ng enter, nilalagay niya yung sightings sa pinakataas para lahat ng measure nila napupunta sa taas. Sa atin, sige na nga, iwan ko na. So, place a tick box on it or place a tick on that box or put a check on the box. And it will attempt to visualize what it thinks you're trying to visualize. In this case, 5021, so it got the number correct. And I just checked on the measure, so nilagay lang niya to sa isang card visual. So ang visual na ginamit again, ito, the card visual here. Pwede kang pumunta dyan. Pwede rin namang the other way around, select mo muna yung visual na gusto mo. And you can do it here on the pane. You can do it here on the ribbon. So if I open this, andyan lang yung card visual dito. I click on it. Ganyan yung itsura ng visual na walang laman. And then I click on sightings. Tapos yan, exact same deal. Now you may be wondering, sana may comma siya kasi 5021. Madali lang din. All you need to do is click on the sightings measure. And then click on this comma right here. Ayan na. Para maging comma format siya. Tada! Sightings 5021. Now, what we did was I typed in the word count rows or the function count rows for correct Sir Paul. Dark mode na tayo. Bagay sana pala nagpatay ako ng ilaw sa kwarto, no? Para full dark. Anyway, so 5021 sightings and what I did was to type yung function mismo na count rows. Pero again, babalik tayo sa paano yan? So kailangan pala alam ko sir yung count rows na measure. What if hindi mo alam, na function. What if hindi mo alam yon? What if ganun ka kabaguhan sa Power BI? Doon na papasok si Copilot. So, well, actually, gamitin na natin si Copilot na built-in. Ang advantage kasi ni built-in Copilot, and if you're familiar with it, napapansin nyo na may Copilot button dito. Actually, if you right-click here, go New Quick Measure, which is what we need to use right now kasi measure yung gusto natin gawin eh. We do have built-in Copilots in multiple places actually, inside Power BI. Hindi lang ito. Iba pa to actually. Ito yung may bayad na Copilot eh. There are some or ito yung medyo premium na Copilot. There are some Copilots that are may bayad rin pero part of the entry-level package of Power BI. So, you can right-click yung doon sa ginawa ko kanina and instead of clicking New Measure, we click New Quick Measure this time. Once you click on New Quick Measure, it opens up a new pane. And to the right of it, there will be two tabs on it. One would say Calculations and one would say Suggestions with Copilot. So we click on Suggestions with Copilot. Pag-click mo ng Suggestions with Copilot, yan. It now will tell you that you can use natural language to describe the measure you need, like total, sales, blah, blah, blah. So in my case, ang gusto ko lang naman is count of rows for the table BFRO underscore reports underscore geocoded. Coded. Yan. And I hit generate. So we wait. We give it like a minute, maybe less. Or maybe a minute. And then we see, actually, live to. So, hindi ko sure kung tatama siya. We weren't able to suggest, oh no, by try selecting a calculation to create your measure or write the DAX measure. Boo! Okay. Anyway. Let's try that again. Kasi kanina hindi nag-underline to. Hinihintay ko siya mag-underline. Count of rows for... hindi. Okay. Nalito siya. Notice na nag-underline siya ng green. So, normally, yun yung hinihintay ko kanina. Dapat pag nag-underline siya ng green, it would detect that it's an existing column or existing table. And yun yung main advantage ni built-in Copilot ni Power BI. So, you should be able to rephrase ko to So, my fault. Kasalanan ko. Fine. Count of rows for... Pwede bang BFRO agad? BFRO. Ayan. Tab. Enter. Sorry, enter dapat. Ayan. So, notice na ngayon, ang naka-underline na is just BFRO reports geocoded. Dapat nga reports Anyway, pero naka-underline. So, it means na in-IntelliSense niya na it detected that it's an existing something, table or column or measure. So, try ko lang i-generate. Hindi ko sure kasi mali rin yung spelling, pero let's see if it works. Yun yung main advantage na meron siyang mga IntelliSense. Kasi technically, whatever you're doing here, you can actually do in Copilot, regular Copilot, like Copilot web, kumbaga. Pero, you'll need to type in like blah, blah, blah for table. So, it didn't work, sadly. Ang gagawin ko na, try ko reports _ kasi ang alam ko, it does need the exact name. So, count of rows for BFRO. If ayaw pa rin to, magka-Copilot web na tayo. Apologies. So, dito tayo. Punta ako dito, punta ako kay... And this is pretty much similar to what you might do with ChatGPT in a way. Bing.com nga ba? Sorry, nag-iba rin yung interface na ina-expect ko. Ayun, andito na pa siya. 3 dots Copilot. Dati kasi may Copilot button sa tabi lang So, Copilot is now... It might ask me to log in. Does it ask me? Quick and easy ask me later. So, copilot.cloud.microsoft na. Login niya. Okay. So, supposedly, what happened earlier, what I was expecting was something to the effect of in... So, this time, since Copilot Web yung gamit ko, I need to be more specific na. I need to say in Power BI, calculate the count of rows for a table. Okay. So, yun. Nagawa naman niya. Sadly, so ito yung ina-expect ko kay Copilot inside Power BI. Unfortunately, so, yan yung problem natin minsan sa live demo. Pero yun, assuming gumagana to, try natin mas simpleng measure pa. Calculate the sum of humidity. Ganun na muna. Humidity. Generate. Kasi ang gusto kong ipakita sa inyo, if it works, how easy it is supposedly to just add that specific Copilot result as a measure. May something wrong talaga. Try selecting calculation to create your own. Darn. Okay. Sadness. So anyway, kung gumagana yung part ng suggestions with Copilot, merong kasamang button yun. So dito kasi, di ba, you need to copy, you need to go here, mag-right-click measure ka na naman tuloy, new measure, tapos you paste it, row count, count rows, blah, 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 your table name, so you need to delete this part, tapos you need to type in your actual table name for it to finally work. May mga ganong steps. So, supposedly dito kasi, sa Quick Measure Copilot, kiniklik mo na lang na create a measure or use this as a measure, mga ganon. So, mas user-friendly, supposedly. So, yan. Row count, 5021. Exact same measure anyway. So, expected to work. So, anyway, delete ko na muna si row count. Delete ko na muna to. So, meron tayong 5,021 sightings ngayon that we traditionally built. Old school way yung measure natin. At this point, ang gusto kong gawin is what if we, as I've said earlier, meron akong total sightings na. What I want to see is sightings per date. For example, may nalimutan ako na tinurn off ko rin. Let me go File. Let me go Options and Settings. Let me go Options. Let me go Data Load of Current File. And let me turn on Time Intelligence. So by default, I have Time Intelligence turned off. Once you work with a lot more Power BI reports, there's a tendency, it is best practice to turn it off kasi hindi na siya magkakaroon ng ganito, ng date hierarchy sa gilid. If you'll notice, ang meron tayo is a date column lang. So I click on the date column, it gives me a table of all the dates na naka-year, quarter, month. Sorry, sobrang liit na yata. Ayan. So, automatic niyang ginawa yung date hierarchy. If hindi tayo naka-auto time intelligence, ang meron lang is yung date mode niya talaga. Ito, date mode. Ito yung date mode. So, raw date talaga na naka-date format naman, pero kumbaga ganyan lang. Usually, if you spend more time with Power BI, you will have a lot of scenarios where you have multiple dates in multiple tables. So, ang nangyayari, gumagawa kami ng tinatawag na date table para meron kang parang singular table where everyone syncs up to that. Mas malinis kasi. Rather than, kunwari, meron ka ng 10 date columns galing sa 8 date tables, nakakalito at some point. And medyo meron siyang very slight na bigat sa data kasi gine-generate niya tong date table na to by himself. Pero yun, for now, again, by default, naka-turn on yan. So, let's use that for now. Go back to date hierarchy and throw in sightings. Right now, what I have checked is date. I'll now be checking date sightings. And as you'll notice, automatic na rin na gagawin ni Power BI yun. Na it will suggest like what may be the best way for you to express your data. So in this case, meron akong year, meron akong sightings. Mukhang magandang trend chart kay sir. At the same time, this is on the year. You do have several drill down options to go from year to month to quarter to week to day, to specific day. So syempre, dudumi ng dudumi if you do that. Kasi yun, eto, nasa per day na tayo. Ganyan ang itsura niya. Pero yun, it does allow you to generalize. Ito, per year, ganyan. So makita mo na, nagkaroon ka ng peak. If you hover it here, 2004, yung merong pinakamaraming Bigfoot sightings back then. And then, same deal, if you click on sightings, click on classification, ito yung class ABC, di ba? If you click on classification, after that, it now gives you a column chart. Column or bar, a bar chart. So, with the bar chart, depende rin sa'yo. If you like it, goods. If you don't, you do have the option to select a different visualization here on the right side. So, pwede kang mag-pie chart, pwede kang mag-donut chart, whatever. So, kunwari, medyo type ko tong donut So, you can do that. And for all of the formatting changes that you may wish to do, you can click on the format pane here on the right. Click on it, and it opens up like other formatting options. So again, iba-iba yung formatting options natin per visual. So you can turn off legend, tapos yung detail labels ko, pwede kong isama dyan yung nasa legend kanina, which is category yata. Ayan, para may class ABC rin, makita ko, whatevs. And so on and so forth. And what else? And of course, one thing na meron rin tayo kanina sa data natin was the state. Diba? Meron tayong, technically, meron rin tayong longitude, latitude actually. So, if you click on state and click on, which shows you the states in the US, and then you click on sightings, it gives you this, but it gives you a bar chart. Pero we do have map charts or map visuals available as well. We have a map, a field map, a shape map. Field map na lang gamitin natin. Okay, buti na lang na-detect. Kinabahan ako doon. Ay, hindi. Shape map pala tayo. Mas malinis. Ay, okay. Mas malinis ka. So, if I click on shape map, may default shape tayo for certain countries eh. I personally kasi deal mainly with North American clients. So, kumbaga, medyo comfy ako with North American samples. I am not 100% sure like, meron ba tayong default shape map if barangays in the Philippines. Honestly, not sure. Feel free to tell or feel free to share via FB comments or Teams chat or YouTube comments at a certain point how your experience is with the Philippine landscape. Pero ang alam ko, Philippine cities can be detected. As in, naka-shape map ka sa Philippines. Hindi ko lang alam yun nga. Barangay, most likely hindi na. Pero yun, US states, tapos yun, naka legend or gradient legend na rin siya na the darker it is, the higher the sightings is for that state. Like Washington, 601. Tapos yung mga light, yan, 15 lang sa Nebraska, so on and so forth. So, as you can see, kumbaga yun, you can like start building your dashboard, albeit a bit crude, pero kumbaga, as long as you have a slight experience in building dashboards in any other tool, whether it be Excel or Tableau or even if nakakita ka lang ng mga ibang mga dashboards, you kinda would get a good feel of how you want your dashboard to look like, to go through. So, lagyan na lang tayo ng one last table siguro dito ng date. Gusto ko yung regular date this time kasi gagawa ako ng table. So, close natin to. Magde-date lang ako. Tapos, gusto ko ng state ulit. State, season. Lagyan na natin yan. Lagyan natin ng summary. So, medyo weird. Pero yan, kunwari magandang table na lang yan. Samahan ko na ng county. Samahan ko na ng classification and county. Para tumaba-taba lang yung date natin. Or sorry, yung table natin. Okay. Ang haba pala nung county. Or haba nung summary. Or wala pa lang laman yung summary. Delete ko na. Sadly, marami ring mga rows na walang dates na nakakapangit. Pero it is what it is. Yan, ganyan na lang. Or ito. Hindi. Ito. Okay, marami talagang blanks sa mga dates. Anyway, so ayun, as you play around with your data, you can it does suggest the best visual it feels you can use to share or visualize your data. Pero there will be times na ikaw mismo again, what if medyo beginner ka, wala ka ring idea on what is the best way to showcase, to express your data. Doon papasok, sana gumana si Copilot button sa ribbon mo. So, let's click on the Copilot ribbon. Okay, na-close ko pala. I click it again. Ayan, lalabas na siya rito as a pane. And I would like to set a disclaimer. Bukod sa possible na mag-fail to, dahil nag-fail yung Copilot kanina, this is not part of the free package. It's not even part of the low-tier premium package. So, si Copilot for Power BI, hindi na ako masyadong updated pero part siya nung F64 Premium or P1 capacity ng Power BI. Yun yung Power BI na around $5,000 per month yata, yung subscription. So, obviously, medyo pang enterprise solution pa lang to, niro-roll out. Maybe at some point in the future, i-allow na nila yung medyo mas lower tiers, mas cheaper tiers. Pero yun, sa ngayon, it's kind of an expensive feature to play around with. So, let's click on. So, when you click on the pane, we have three options. Create a new report page, suggest content, and answer this data question. Actually, pwede tayong mag-suggest content yata. Try natin. Suggest content. And let's see what it suggests. Kasi nga, nasa stage tayo na kunwari, I have no idea ano nga bang okay. So, yun. I click on it. Technically, it gives me 4 suggestions. seasonal sightings, geographical distribution, weather conditions, and moon phase impact. So, ito daw yung 4 na pages na baka gusto mong silipin as part of your report. So, tingnan na natin yung unang-una, seasonal sightings. So, you have 2 buttons at the end of it. An edit button para i-edit tong prompt mo and a create button para to push through. So, the prompt will be create a page to analyze the number of sightings by season. Okay naman na sa akin yun. Again, beginner ako, hindi ko sure anong pinagagawa ko pa. Let's click on create. So, makikita nyo na what it does is it essentially enters your prompt as a chat towards Copilot. And in just less than a minute, let me collapse some of the panes. In less than a minute, it provides you with your own Power BI page with you not really doing anything yet. So imagine it's a new data set, you're not sure, and you're also new to Power BI usage, and you're not sure yet what to do, how to do it. The Copilot pane for Power BI offers a huge helping hand in terms of you building your initial pages. At the same time, if I click on this, it's an active visual. So I closed it earlier, apologize, but let's open some panes again. So if I open the build pane, you'll see that this is using the new card visual. If I click on this, it's using the stack column chart visual. And I can still click on the format pane and change formats. Everything is live. Everything is still dynamic. I can click on the third visual right here, and it gives me the choice as well to move certain metrics out of there or in there as I see fit. So, andito pa rin yung mga data fields ko, and I can swap things around. One thing that I also would like to highlight is that not only did it suggest 3 visuals, 3 breakdowns for my seasonal report, but it also even created a header for me. It also even created an icon for me. So the little things, diba? Yung mga normally mag-i-spend ka pa ng effort supposedly for those tiny aesthetic things, pero Power BI is doing it for you. Let's try out some of the other suggestions that it had. It had geographical distribution, weather conditions. So, did it kick us out actually though? It may have kicked us out of Copilot. So let me try to collapse, open it again. Okay, I'll need to relaunch this Copilot pane. And as you know, it does say preview at the upper right corner. So expect there are some slightly unexpected bugs now and then. So what I want to do now is, before we go through any other errors again, I'm just going to open each and every suggested page. So geographical distribution is up next. Let it work on it. And then I'll straight up open weather conditions, create that page. And then let's open the last one, which is moon phase impact. So what I expect is for us to have like 4 new pages. So we'll have 3 pages in total. And as you notice, I'll actually let me click on the last one. So moon phase impact create. There. So once it's done working on it, you'll notice that it actually provides you with some descriptions on what it just did. So after clicking moon phase or create a page to analyze the impact of moon phases, it gives you like a short description. Na I can create a report page to analyze the impact of moon phases on sightings based on blah blah blah. I recommend blah blah blah. So this is like I'd like to highlight that for each and every one of this is us not typing any prompt even. Diba? This is just Power BI doing its thing, Copilot doing its thing, and me exploring, diba? Me pointing and clicking, literally. Now, at some point, kumbaga, you might want to be more directional in what you want to do. You might want to be more intentional. And you actually want to create some specific visuals. So I will be honest, medyo hit or miss. I've noticed that if I type in prompt that is too long, it does tend to crash Copilot. So let's try two prompts. So first prompt that I want to try is something that is just short. I'm going to say create a page with sightings per class in a donut chart. Then the sightings by state in a map. Call this the exec summary page. So let's try to run that and see what it does. Again, live Copilotness. So let's see what it does. So okay, so far so good with that. You'll notice though na medyo iba yung itsura ng map na ginamit niya dito. That's because if I click on it and I click on build, it does use the state, it does use the sightings, it uses it under bubble size, and then it uses the map visual instead of what we used earlier, which was shape map. Actually, if I click on shape map, does it work? Yeah, it does. It does put me back on that map style. So again, depende na sa inyo. Now, let's try to be a bit more complex. So this is a longer prompt. Now we're telling it to create a page with sightings per class in a donut chart, then the sightings by season in a bar chart, then the sightings by state in a map, finally a column chart of sightings per date. I'd also like to have slicers for the date and the region. Call this the exec summary page. Actually, call this the exec summary part 2 page. Yan. And then hit enter or hit send. So let's see. So I always have this in my back pocket kasi yun nga, this might not always work. I've noticed that with Copilot. Hey, it's working now. So diba, isn't that fun? And notice, it's called exec summary part 2. Notice, it now has a slicer. Diba? It has the date and the state as I wanted. It has the card. It has the donut. So, all of that with just me telling Copilot that this is what I want to see. So, as you can see, this is still like on the preview phase. It is only part of a very few select plans as of now, but it's going in that direction. We're going into the direction where this page, for example, this is a page that actually looks pretty good. And I can go view. If medyo sumasakit yung mata nyo sa dark mode, you can go back to the default light view. You can go to a different colorway, or yun nga, we can go back to the dark mode that we are in right now. Pero this is output that is not normally created by someone that just learned Power BI 60 minutes ago. So you can see that with Copilot, with generative AI in general, there is a lot more things that beginners can jump on. Now it's just a question of them being more upskilling, leveling up themselves, upgrading themselves, diba? Para makalagpas ka. Kasi yun nga, at a certain point, yeah, AI did this, Copilot did this, cool, magaling, pero there will be times, pero this is super basic as far as a dashboard is concerned, diba? Kumbaga, you could have used a different map visual for this one. You could have added drill-throughs, yung mga ganon. I'm not sure if Power BI can do it. Medyo mas intermediate na. Pero what Copilot does is it lowers the entry barrier, kumbaga, in knowing how to use Power BI a lot. Because if you were to do Copilot or ChatGPT or Gemini, Google Gemini on a separate window, on a separate browser, parang gagawin mo pa rin yun step by step in a way. Ang bibigay lang niya sa'yo is yung mga steps, diba? So with Copilot inside Power BI, it literally does the building of the report page for you. So, yun yung ano niya ngayon. Yun yung parang pinaka new powerful thing sa kanya. And ayun, actually that's the end of the demo, the simulation. Do we have any questions from either Teams chat or from the Facebook group or the Facebook live? No questions, no questions. Nahihirapan ako tumingin sa Teams. Ayan. Yeah, oo. So, yun nga, Joe, there will be some companies that will be very careful with Copilot, pero they've made improvements as well. So, as far as yung security, kasi there was a time with not just Copilot naman, kasi Copilot uses the OpenAI, di ba? Infra dati. So, ang pinaka-concern was pinapadala niya yung data nyo to a parang public, basically an outside server, and dun pinaprocess yung mga queries. So with Copilot for Power BI or anything na mga Microsoft Office integrated Copilots, ginagawa na yung mga compute nun, ang alam ko, in a more secure server na within your own tenant. Hindi na sila yung parang nakikishare sa public. Is there any other way to use Copilot? Yun lang, Joe eh. So, magba-browser mode ka. As in dito, copilot.cloud.microsoft.com. Tama ba? Yeah, dito nga. So, ito lang yung way ang mangyayari. Diyan ka na sa copilot.cloud. Or maybe you can do copilot.microsoft. I'm not sure. Pero yun. And then you go from there. Ito kasi, IT, dapat IT ng company niyo. Nag-enable rin yan ng Copilot button dyan. So, yun. We now go back to the slides. And, yun, one of the quotes from Edward Tufte that I really liked. There is no such thing as information overload. There is only bad design. Edward Tufte is generally considered as the pioneer of data visualization. He has a lot of talks about data viz way back, parang 10 years, 20 years ago, ganon. And there's no such thing as info overload. There is no such thing as learning overload as well. So, at this point, again, this is aimed for beginners kasi. So, at this point, like, where can you go? Where do you want to take your learning from here? Whenever people ask me, what would you recommend? Meron bang YouTube videos or data camp courses or whatever that you would recommend in learning Power BI? My default answer is really PL300. Learn.microsoft.com. It's a free course. If you go if you go online or self-study online, it's free. And it's always updated kasi Microsoft mismo yung nag-edit niyan. And it's very comprehensive. It takes you through the very beginning, which is what are the different types of analytics, all the way to administering Power BI on an enterprise workspace. Ganon yung breadth and depth niya. At the same time, yun nga, if you really like what you're learning, if you really like, kumbaga, if you're already using Power BI in your work and you find that you're actually enjoying it, maybe aim for the PL300 exam para kumbaga solidify your credentials na for it. And then always I've always been an advocate of data challenges. I've listed 3 here, 3 of the bigger ones. All of them makikita nyo sa LinkedIn actually. Very active yung mga LinkedIn folks sa mga ganyan. Maven Analytics, Onyx Data, FP20 Analytics, they host data challenges every month. And I'm a big fan of data challenges kasi they offer something regardless of your skill level in Power BI. If you're someone new, beginner ka pa lang, data challenges offer a way for you to play around with random data. Usually, ang mga data sets niya naka-Excel, naka-CSV, tapos you plug them in. So, it allows you to just practice, creating visuals, creating measures, being familiar with the interface and all. If you're someone that's intermediate, then it allows you to try and like see what you can come up with versus what other people can come up with. Ang usual kasi dyan, for some of the data challenges, may mga guide questions. For some of them, wala. So it allows you to be creative in what you are trying to build, and at the same time, magkakaroon ka ng benchmark. So ito yung output ko. Pagkita mo sa output ng iba na, oo nga, pwede palang mag-breakdown ng ganito, mag-drill through ng ganito. Pwede palang magkaroon ng new measure na ganito. Oo nga, no? Kasi it offers you this type of insight on your data. And then if you're someone that's advanced, of course, you try to aim for that number one spot. You actually try to win. Which is, di ba, I congratulated folks earlier. Si Rico and si Fatima nga ba? I'm so sorry, I forgot her name. Pero you can actually try aiming for the win, for the big win, di ba? And that transitions me into the 9 winners of the Feb 2023 Data DNA Bigfoot Challenge. So the Bigfoot data that we used earlier was actually part of a data challenge way back in Feb 2023. So just to showcase and remember what we were able to come up with, what Power BI Copilot was able to come up with, and I present to you what the winners were able to come up with. So exact same data sets yan. Obviously, so baka malito kayo. Ito lang yung Power BI part nasa gitna. So title, very very clear visual, shape map pa rin, pero may heat map siya in that, plus actual values. Very heat map oriented, red and yellow and orange dun sa kanyang I guess column chart to, I'm guessing. Tapos ayun, some icons, some pictures, again very clear bold text in a lot of them, and this was one of the winners. I'll go through some other winners. We're going to go through 9. So medyo bibilisan ko konti. Pero again, it offers you like a way to look at what you're thinking of doing versus what other people were able to come up with. Kaya yun. And kasama na dun yung kumbaga yung not only the analytical part, like ano yung mga measures, breakdowns, pero at the same time, anong mga color palette ang ginamit nila, anong mga font. Medyo be very careful lang with font kasi I highly recommend using the default fonts. Sina Sego UI, sina Din. Tapos yung mga ganito, mga PNGs yan, mga pictures lang yan. Kasi parang pang title lang. Kasi masisira ang font ninyo pag naka-embed kayo Or kumbaga, if you use custom fonts and you publish your reports to the Power BI service, whoever looks at your report needs to have the same font installed. So medyo may challenges sa font support ng Power BI. So mas consistent ka, mas stable if you just use the default fonts. Pero yun, kumbaga. So it's always fun to look at what other people were able to come up with. Ito nga, di ba? Parang super analytical na. So as in a scatter chart na ng map sa US. Naka by state yata to, kaya kinaya niyang gawin to. Or not state pa, sorry, by county na yung ginawa niya. And so it ranges from you'll see that it ranges from the infographic style, 'di ba? Yung very colorful, very attention grabbing, short text lang, all the way to nung time na to 2023, honestly medyo konti pa yung enterprise style talaga na may mga slicers, lots of interactivity, medyo mas infographic back then. If titignan nyo yung mga data challenge winners ngayon, they are mas varied na. Hindi sila lahat pasiklaban sa aesthetics. May lalim na yung mga dashboards. And this is again an entry by Rico Balibalita again back then. So back then pa lang na talaga winning data viz developer na talaga si Rico. So again, one of the better looking reports coming from him as far as style, colors, font types, and still very good insights along with it. And yeah, that essentially ends that part of my presentation, the dashboard in an hour. Let me check lang kung meron pa akong Canvas slides. I think I'm all out na rin naman. Pero at this point, yeah, I'm all out. So at this point, maraming salamat. Happy creating, mga Power BI arists. Thank you for the valuable session. Welcome. Sorry, hindi ko mabasa yung name mo. Thank you, Arwal. Could you please let me know where you'll be sharing the recorded session? Recorded session will be shared via YouTube. So make sure lang to follow the page. I'll be posting it for sure. At the same time, I'll be posting it inside on the page and inside the Power BI Pilipinas community. And most likely like some other partner communities like Data Analytics Philippines, Tech Career Shifters Philippines, Data Engineering Pilipinas. Yan yung tatlo plus PBI Pinas community. Yan yung apat na usually bina-blanket share ko or shotgun share in a way. And please connect with us. Taplang.cc/Power BI Pilipinas. Feel free to also just scan the QR code. Join us in Facebook. Please join us in the Fabric community. We'd love to have you. And last round or last call out. Any other questions about anything that we went through today? Going once. Going twice. Teka, may mga nag-chat sa Teams or magte-thank you lang ba kayo? Of course, Arwal, I will be sharing the links. It will be what I do is they usually become part of the YouTube description. So, of course, I'll be sharing the whatever links I see in the Teams chat and in the Facebook chat because pretty much yun na yung archive ko. And again, thank you very much, everyone. Have a happy weekend. Thank you for joining me, everyone in Facebook, everyone in Teams. Have fun. Bye, guys.